Hello, my name is Walter Hendricks. As you all may very well know, a deadly virus swept through New York City a couple months ago. I have the privilege to interview the last known living man in New York City. I'm risking my life in this endeavor. Let's meet him.
My name's David. I grew up in New York City all my life. I was an arborist. That was my first job. Basically, it's like a botanist, but for trees.
Okay.
So I study trees. I
Okay.
hang around them. I study them. I research, write papers on them.
Okay.
Yeah. I was researching the trees, and I guess at one point I was locked in at home for a month, 2 months, just writing this paper really deep into it. And then when I emerged to do my research after the winter, I didn't see anyone anymore, and it seemed like everyone just vanished. Usually, the food that's still good is basically just canned beans, canned tuna, canned sardines, just a lot of canned goods. That's the stuff that's survived. You know, it's been months since food's been brought in, so that's kind of what I'm just surviving off of. I'd say I spend most of my time in the park, sitting on benches, thinking. There's a lot of different ways to think. You can contemplate, you can reminisce. Just lost in my thoughts is how I spend most of my time. There are times where I wish I had human companions, but I've made it work. There's a lot of things I do, a lot of things I hang out with. Like I said, I was in the park a lot, so I'm getting to know all these trees and all this nature around me. I watch the trees grow over time, so I like to see the leaves grow, fall.
I've been thinking about this. I thought about this on the way over here. Who was the last person you talked to? Who was the last person you saw? On the subject of speaking to people.
Well, this virus started a couple months ago. I'd say we'd have to go a few months before that.
You hadn't spoken to someone for months before the virus?
Well, I was living at home,
Right.
It was not desolate, but it's a... Yeah, I guess you're right, yeah.
So who was the last person you talked to?
Maybe like an MTA worker on the subway. I was buying a ticket.
Okay.
It's been about a year, though.
Jesus.
Trees, I was telling you about.
Yeah, I know about the trees. We don't have to keep talking about that. David, would you say you're special because you're the only one that survived?
Honestly, at first, I thought I was just lucky. But over time, the more I've spent reflecting and thinking about it, I would definitely say I am special. There's definitely some reason why...
Are you sure it's not because you didn't see anybody for a year before the virus?
I mean, that could be a factor, but I think there's some
I think it's a pretty big factor, actually.
I think there's some higher being out there that
No, I think it's because you didn't see anybody for
I think there's a higher being out
there
there
that's year.
I mean, to be the lone survivor in this city.
Okay.
Why am I alive and no one else isn't? There must be some higher purpose for my life.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's not because you didn't see anybody for a whole year. That wouldn't make any sense at all. Thank you, David. Thank you for those answers.
You're welcome.
As you can see, nothing much happens in David's life. This raises certain philosophical questions. What is our purpose? Why do we exist? What do we do when everything we've ever known changes? Who are we then? David asks these questions every day. Who knows what will happen to David Walker next? Rumor has it he signed a book deal, a tell-all about his life. But what is life like this really? As he walks away, one question remains in my mind, a question David can't answer. What will happen to this city? I guess only time will tell. Till next time, Walter Hendricks.